Welcome to the Pearson's search, Pearson's exam for internet search. Just remember there's two videos on this website. One will be for City and Guilds, one will be for Pearson's. Make sure you know which exam you're sitting. So for Pearson's, I just thought I'd show you this interesting information. This is what your files will be like and how they'll be given to you. So when you start your exam, you'll have two pieces of paper on the desk in front of you, one with questions on, and another slip of paper which will let you know your candidate name, candidate number, and the centre ID, because that's the relevant information that needs to go in the footer. Remember that in the footer of every print screen or every software that you save, you need to put your name, candidate number, and centre ID. Now that information will be given to you on the day so we can relax. So you will also be told where your files are. They could be on the desktop, they could be in documents, but the invigilator will tell you where the files are on your computer and you will then have to go to them. So my files are here and this is what they will look like. You will have a folder with images in, various images and the logo that you may need to use during your exam. Just be aware that there are some red herrings. So I can see this is mostly about swimming, possibly near Dover, canoe that's linked. That doesn't look linked to swimming, so just be careful which images we do choose, make sure they're appropriate. There don't seem to be any copyright images on there, but if there are, do not use copyright. This is the spreadsheet, which you would open when you get to that question. We're going to have a look at the response set in a minute, which is linked to the internet search. And here's a text file. So this will be for, I can see that I've got a Word document in this exam and not a PowerPoint. If I open it up, yeah, I can see I'm going to cut and paste that into a document. Looks like a newsletter, and I'm going to amend it accordingly and add in information. We're going to talk about this more when we get to documents, but you can see that it says here, enter the information you found in section A, which is what we're going to look at now. So the response set is what you'll be looking at for the internet search. So in your question paper, it will say open up the response set file and answer the questions. So we'll just close that, and this is what the response set will look like. It will look like this, 2 pages. So you're going to put your name in, your candidate number, and your centre number. I would put it in the footer as well, only because on the second page, there's nothing in there to say, and you know, if they get printed off and the pages get separated, we won't know whose they are, so you won't lose any marks for that, but definitely put it in here. This is the only difference to every other print screen and every other software you're saving. Here it will go actually on the page, all the other criteria, it will go in the footer. So section A, remember it's not, this section A is internet accessible. So it's an afternoon tea, use an internet search engine to find the name of the 7th Duchess of Bedford and paste it here. Now the big common mistake most people put, they can see a website address here and that, and they put it here. Now the format never changes. This part is asking you to show the search engine, Google in this case, the criteria box and the keywords you typed here. So we're going to take a print screen and put it there. Now what they're looking for mostly is that you've used a correct search engine and they can see the criteria you've used. So the criteria I'm looking for is find the name of the 7th Duchess of Bedford. So if I just highlight that and copy that, I'm going to go to Google, paste it in the search engine and enter. Now I can see I've got the correct search criteria in there, and I've got the Google, I'm using the correct search engine. So what they're after here is basically that bit of info. So if you take a print screen of this page, and we're going to paste it back into our document here. So I'm just going to right click, I'm going to paste it in. Yes, okay, I've got 2 screens, which is quite interesting. So if I just format that, a bit of an extra, I'm going to go to crop, and I'm just going to crop my screen. This won't happen in your exam because you'll be on a college computer and you'll have 1 screen. So I can now delete this text because I don't need it, it's redundant. I'm going to open up my print screen. Yes, it's going to move everything down, but I just need to make sure it's readable so they can read the search criteria and they can see everything. That's that. Now I can see it started to punch things down and move things around. We can mend them later. So the second part is the name of the 7th Duchess of Bedford. So if you go back to your you go back to your search engine, and we're going to open up one of the web addresses. We're not going to use wiki because as we know, wiki can be changed and altered. So we're just going to open up one of the web addresses below. Just make sure it's appropriate and make sure it's safe. So I can see on this one, we need to know the lady's name. It's Anna Marie Russell. So I'm just going to write that into here. Anna Marie Russell. And I want to know the website that you located this information from. So the website is not the Google address. I'm going to take this address here, the URL for this website, and then I'm going to paste it into here. Now the two big mistakes people make is they put this part in here and they use the web address for Google search in here. And if you're looking for images, because it may ask you for an image rather than a name, so it may have asked you for a picture of her, do not use Google Images here. You need to go to a website for this part. It never changes. Internet search, website. So it's going to ask you a few more questions. The scientific name of the tea plant. So you're just going to go back to the Google search engine. You're going to place this criteria in the Google search engine, open up a web address and find the name. You don't need the web address, you just need the name. And again, you're then going to put another search in, name of the oil used to flavour Earl Grey tea. Go and do a search engine for that. And then just put the flavour in there. Don't need the URL. Never changes this. So I can imagine if you put some data in here, it's then going to possibly, which it has, move task 5 down. So all I would say is just tidy up your page. I'm going to backspace and bring it back onto 2 pages, get rid of the 3rd page. Just tidy up the page. Now, my advice for this this is task 5, which is the strangely the non-internet. You're not allowed to use the internet for this. However, you may or may not have to use it. I think I might be mixing it up with City and Guilds exam, but bear with me. So this is just going to ask you about using IT, and they're going to ask you some questions about IT. Now I'm going to put up on the website some Q&A responses. I would read through them at your leisure, and this will be responding to that. So it may say something like, what does CC mean in an email? Carbon copy, why do we use BCC in this email? Or a question, the printer's not working, you've sent something to the printer and it's not printing, why? So that could be anything as simplistic as it's not turned on. It could be that you've sent it to the wrong printer. The Wi-Fi is not working, things like that. There are going to be questions like that. So I would advise you to do question 5 at the same time you do this, because again, some students have forgot to do this, because if you look at your question paper, you'll see it's on the back, and they forgot to complete task 5. So I would complete both of them together, and then once you've done that, you will now save this file back to your folder that you created. Sorry, my apologies. You're going to save this file back to the area where you got all your your files from. So you're going to save it back into this area. So I'm going to go through that process now. So I'm going to do File, Save As, Browse, and I'm going to put it back into that folder. If I just have a look for it so I can get back on the same page as you guys. Apologies for the delay. So it looks something like this. This may not be exactly the same one, but it looks something like this. So I'm going to save it back into here. I'm just going to rename it though. So for now, I'm going to save it to my desktop, but I'm going to keep the file name, and I'm going to add my initials on the end, and then I'm going to say save. I can see now I have amended their original file, and I've put my initials on the end of it. And that is everything you need to do for internet search. Thank you very much.